How is it possible that this show keeps getting worse? It's time for a Marvin the Movie Monster review. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Welcome to another Marvin the Movie Monster Acolyte review, and since I was away last week, we're actually doing 2 episodes in one, which also means that my brain might spontaneously rebel against me and wipe itself clean to protect itself. Though, that would honestly be the best possible outcome, as I would no longer remember the absolute mess I've been forced to struggle my way through. But, as I always say, I'm suffering through this trash so that you don't have to. So come on, Monster Movement, let's wade through the muck of pop culture sewage that is The Acolyte, episodes 4 and 5. Now, before we were so rudely interrupted last week with a stroll up Lesbian Witch Mountain and the flashback of Doom, we were just introduced to the first interesting concept in this show at the end of the second episode. That is the introduction of a Wookiee Jedi. Now, that might actually be fun to watch and experience, and if you're anything like me, you went into this episode ready to watch a Wookiee throw down with some cool Force powers and some wild lightsaber action. But we'll get to that. Our story picks up on generic bullshit planet number 4 in the mythical forest of Soundstage 23. We see Leslye Headland wander into the shot aimlessly during filming, and I'm shocked that went unnoticed by the editors. We then hang out in Wookiee Jedi's house for a bit to find that he's got a bunch of art on the walls, including the swirly-whirly ascension icon of Lesbian Witch Mountain. More on this as it develops. Or doesn't. We then sloop over to the Jedi Temple on the PS2 rendered planet of Coruscant. Seriously, where did all the damn money in this $180 million budget go? Once there, we join Padawan Chitara in the equivalent of Jedi Elementary School, getting some practice in before it's time for juice break and nap time, under the tutelage of Jedi Master Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones, presumably here to wait around for Captain Phasma to show up. Our old friend Leslye then shows up to this elementary school classroom to troll for a date from this child. Yes, I am aware that the character was specifically listed as being 18 in outside materials, but as we'll cover in a hot minute, ages given in supplementary materials apparently don't count. Anyway, Leslye and Padawan Chitara, the child in a Jedi Younglings class, weirdly flirt with one another while Leslye is saying that she's leaving the temple and letting the Jedi continue their hunt for her sister Mary Kate. She then tells the child that the next time she's in town, she'll take her to a bar and get her drunk.
I mean, you must be curious after all this time.
Don't tell me you'll miss me. Next time I'm on Coruscant, though, I'll look you up. And we'll go to a cantina and trade stories about Master Soul.
It's only weird if we let it be, guys. We then cut to generic bullshit planet number 4, where Mary Kate is landing with Asian Ezra Miller, who is totally in no way, shape, or form her mystery master in the Gimp mask, Smilo Ren. They give a little exposition dump regarding the planet, expertly letting us know that people don't like to go into the dark, deep, mystical forests of Soundstage 23.
You know, your sister being alive doesn't change anything. You made a deal.
Asian Ezra Miller is totally not Smilo Ren, by the way. We then get our first long shot of characters walking in this episode, the first of many. Now we're bouncing back to the Jedi Temple where we catch up with Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi and a bunch of other— wait a minute, what? Yup. At first I thought this was maybe just another Syrian Jedi, but the credits confirm it's none other than Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi. You know, the guy from episodes 1, 2, and 3. And he's a total jackass here, as expected. Never mind the fact that official supplementary material released around Revenge of the Sith confirms that he died at the age of 70, and this is 100 years in the past. If it's not expressly stated on camera, apparently it doesn't count. So stop telling me Chitara is 18 while she's sitting there at Jedi kindergarten in a booster seat. Now, you might be asking yourself why Ki-Adi-Mundi needed to be in this. Perhaps Leslye needed a toxic male legacy Jedi and chose the one who literally looks like a walking wiener. Or perhaps it's because he said this.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
And now his presence here in some way legitimizes her shattering of Star Wars lore. Mundi is then in the room to discuss the possibility that there's some kind of splinter order out there training dark side users to kill the Jedi.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Anyway, Jedi Master Leslye Headland's wife is here to scowl at all the men in the room while advocating that this information should be hidden from the Jedi High Council. She then immediately berates Jedi Master Squid Games for apparently hiding that Mary Kate was alive, which of course he couldn't have possibly known. Hey, but any excuse for a strong female character to berate a man, am I right, ladies? We're then back with Mary Kate and Asian Ezra Miller, who's talking to her about making sure that she kills a Jedi without a weapon, as her master has ordered her to. Asian Ezra Miller is totally not Smilo Ren, by the way. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she already accomplish this with Jedi Master White Guilt? She never laid a finger on him with a weapon, and instead convinced him to drink poison. I'd say that counts as killing a Jedi without a weapon, but what do I know? I'm just a person sitting here paying attention to the things these characters say and do. We then get some more Hobbit walking scenes to pad out the runtime of this 30-minute episode even more. Jedi Master Squid Games finds Oshlee as she's about to leave and asks her to come back. Oshlee asks if he's going to ask her to come back to the Jedi, and he responds by going, well, no, but can I use you against your sister so the mean green lady who's married to our boss will let me go on this mission? Oshlee agrees, and now it's time for Jedi Knight Superfan to put together his winning team of Jedi plus Oshlee to go out there and find this evil and bring it to justice. They'll be doing that with the help of this little critter who brings a lot to the table, including an amazing sense of smell and an opportunity to use pronouns in Star Wars.
Is he or they with us?
Them at Otta has apparently traveled all the way from River Bottom to punch holes in washtubs and assist the Jedi on this major mission.
Well, at least there ain't no hole in the washtub.
Here's hoping he gets back in time for Christmas. As the good guys put their plan together, Jedi Knight Superfan continues being a toxic male to Oshlee by demanding her blaster back, even though we've already established that she's innocent multiple times, and he himself has admitted this in the second episode. He's just gonna be a jerk because male. Though I'm sure it'll be fulfilling in the future episodes when we see his character evolve beyond just being a toxic masculinity source that exists to be bossed around and clowned on by every female character in the show. Right? Arriving on generic BS planet number 4, Padawan Chitara lets us know that Wookiee Jedi is in the forest. Jedi Master Squid Games then steps forward to announce this.
Kalaka is in there.
Just stellar script work again this week, guys. The only consistency in this show is how atrociously it's written. We then head into the mythical forest of Soundstage 23, where there are bugs on all the trees, and Superfan is still being a jerk, and none of the experienced Jedi Masters in this travel party realize that the tumas growing on these trees are creatures. But Oshlee does, because she's just the bestest. One of the giant moths then comes into attack, and Jedi Master Squid Games ignites his lightsaber. The moth flies right into it, and the day is saved. Padawan Chitara and Jedi Superfan then provide some narration in case you're unfamiliar with how moths work.
It went straight for the saber.
It's attracted to light.
Now we get more of Oshlee flirting with a child, this time over the concept of death, before switching over to May and Asian Ezra Miller walking in the woods. This is where we see Mary Kate get the light bulb moment that she's going to make a babyface turn, fourth quarter light side conversion because she wants to, I guess, because her sister? I don't know. So she's going to turn on a master because he'd never even be able to find her here because he's totally not Asian Ezra Miller, by the way. The Jedi team and Asian Ezra Miller, who I must insist on reminding you once more is totally not Smilo Ren, hear Mary Kate scream. Now, Asian Ezra Miller arrives back at Mary Kate's location where he immediately gets caught in a snare trap. It's then that Mary Kate declares, "I am good now," because the script demands it. She's gonna go surrender to Wookiee Jedi now, and Asian Ezra Miller can deal with it. She arrives at Wookiee Jedi's house, but runs into them at Otta, who screeches. The Jedi hear this, and Superfan realizes that them at Otta has found Mary Kate, despite the fact that he was searching for Wookiee Jedi. There may be holes in this plot, but
When there ain't no hole in the washtub.
now that Mary Kate has arrived, it's time to finally meet our Wookiee Jedi and see what he can do. I felt the spark of actual interest hit me for the first time in this whole episode. We're about to meet a Wookiee Jedi and see him whirl around with a lightsaber and,
Son of a bitch!
It's almost impressive how horrific this entire experience has been. Leslye and her team of pop culture putty patrollers have found a way to screw literally everything up. Mary Kate then realizes that her master, who I must insist on reminding you once more is totally not Agent Ezra Miller, must be here. And the second she says it, it turns from dusk to dead of night in 3 seconds flat, because that's how suns work. The Jedi, who were close enough to have heard both May and them and Otto scream in daylight, arrive at night at Wookiee Jedi's house and demand Mary Kate come out. But wait! Smilo Ren floats out of nowhere, and the Jedi are all like, what? Is that Agent Ezra Miller? And then they're like, nah, it's totally not. Smilo then force throws Oshlee, the Jedi ignite their sabers, and it seems like for the first time in this 30-minute, 8-hour episode that something might actually happen. Smilo Ren force pushes all of the Jedi, and then... Yup. The second something of note actually happened, we cut right to credits. And that was episode 4 of this dreck. I have to say it was somehow worse than the third episode on Lesbian Witch Mountain. For all the lore-shattering horror and franchise-destroying nonsense that occurred there, things still actually happened. Nonsensical, insulting, and terribly written things, but still things. But have no fear, intrepid monster, for now it's time for episode 5, where things happen! Nonsensical, insulting, and terribly written things, but still, things. Episode 5 picks up with Oshlee regaining consciousness. Things apparently happened after Smilo force pushed the Jedi. Things we didn't see! And what's the first thing Oshlee does upon waking up? She looks for Pip, her faithful droid sidekick, who's kind of like a pet dog. I want to reiterate, the first thing that she does here is look for Pip. The first thing. She cares that much about this droid in the same way you or I might care about a dog. I'm giving you Leslye Headland style foreshadowing here to make sure that you understand what's coming soon. Now we get to watch a fight through some trees where Smilo Ren is fighting off 4 Jedi, including Superfan. We see some fast-paced action through the trees, but what the high holy heffalump are these idiots over here swinging at? Is this a battle to the death or a blacklight rave? All right, next comes a moment that I actually loved, but a lot of people were left confused by. Smilo Ren forearms and headbutts 2 lightsabers, and they extinguish. Now, I understand what this is. His helmet and gauntlet are made of cortosis, a metal from the expanded universe that shorts out lightsaber blades. We saw cortosis used in both Legacy Legends canon and Disney canon, so I personally liked seeing it. Of course, Leslye never actually explained what cortosis was or why it can do this, so most fans who aren't insane obsessive people like me had no idea what happened. I'd like to point out that this is the creative team that deemed it necessary last week to explain to us that moths like light, but they couldn't take 5 seconds to throw in a line explaining cortosis. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the presence of cortosis as our Dave Filoni obvious contribution of the week. Anyway, Smilo continues to fight and kills Al Snow in the Jedi Job Squad. He also fights Superfan for a second, and despite having a kill shot, which he was more than happy to take on the others, just nicks his leg because the script says he's not supposed to kill him yet. Oshlee then tries to shoot a stun beam at Smilo Ren, and it doesn't work. And I'm over here wondering where Squid Games and Chitara are. Why was Superfan and the Jedi Job Squad out here fighting, and these 2 idiots are nowhere in sight? It couldn't be because the script demands them to make their own dramatic entrances. Could it? Yup! Squid shows up in heroic fashion and deflects Smilo's saber to protect Oshlee. No idea where he's been for the last 5 minutes, but...
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Squid then tells Superfan to get Oshlee out of there, and he agrees. Superfan then lights their way through the forest with his lightsaber. I guess no one told him about the new rule.
A Jedi doesn't pull her weapon unless prepared to kill.
Anyway, Squid Games and Smilo Ren talk for a minute before we cut back to Mary Kate about to take a dip and get out of Dodge when, out of nowhere, Padawan Chitara, missing up to this point, sails in with a missile dropkick to start the whole fight anew. At this point, I would like to add that despite the ridiculousness of this episode, it is the best written episode to date. That's because most of this week's script boils down to they fight.
Of course, there's a lot of cheating in there. A lot of they fight.
Anyway, they fight. And Chitara does way better against Mary Kate than Jedi Master Trinity, a seasoned and powerful Jedi Master. She would have had a beat if not for the fact that she needed to suddenly stop and read her Miranda rights. Are we kidding here? We're back to Squid Games and Smilo, and Squid asks Smilo to take off his mask. Smilo then says,
And let you read my thoughts.
So, is this just Magneto's helmet now? Does that mean Magneto can headbutt a lightsaber? And when it comes off, does that mean Squid can read his mind? Well, we'll find out in a bit, but I think you know where this is going in so many ways. Superfan then gripes to Leslye about how Smilo is ignoring the rules of combat. The rules of combat? Well, then there must be an AEW referee out there who's refusing to ring the bell in this life-or-death fight. He also mentions that he can get in your head, which Leslye hammers home that Mama Yas could do. More on that later. So despite the issue Mirandizing her, Chitara finally subdues May, but then Smilo Ren shows up and this Padawan decides it's time to step up. And boy does she ever. She fares better against him than 5 seasoned Jedi Knights at the same time did. She does better than her own master did. A quick history on Padawans fighting Sith Lords in Star Wars, if you'll permit me. Obi-Wan Kenobi defeated Darth Maul because of a fluke. Maul batted him around like a ball of yarn for the entire fight and let his guard down. Anakin Skywalker was handily, pun intended, defeated by Count Dooku in Episode 2, losing an arm in the process. But this little Padawan girl, this 90-pound girl, is a whirlwind of destruction against an enemy that has wrecked a half-dozen seasoned Jedi Knights and Masters. She even gets Wookiee Jedi's lightsaber and adapts what I've come to call the Galadriel Smirk before using the Jedi combat out of Ja-Kai, or dual-wielding lightsaber combat. We're then back in the woods with Superfan and Leslye. And remember when Superfan was the one last week who pointed out how the moths in the forest were attracted to light? Well, he forgot they exist now, but thankfully, Leslye is there to correct him. Smilo confronts Mary Kate and she begs off, cuts off her handcuffs for some dumbass reason, and then both Squid and Chitara attack him together. What follows is a pretty decent saber fight. But while the prequel era fights drew from the 7 forms of lightsaber combat, each with its own stance, style, strengths, and weaknesses, in this episode, everyone fights with the same hack and slash style, where if you actually pay attention, you'll see that they're not even aiming for each other. They're aiming for their opponent's saber somewhere in the safe space between them. It's mind-numbingly stupid, and the fact that people are saying this garbage is better than the prequel duels is insulting to Nick Gillard, the absolute stunt wizard who was the fight master for all 3 prequels. Leslye now once again tells Superfan they need to go back because Smilo is going to kill everyone. Apparently Superfan hadn't realized this was Smilo's goal, so he agrees finally. Squid's lightsaber falls victim to the helmet, so Chitara now comes at Smilo Han style. Solo. She's so into it, she's screaming in rage, her face contorting in anger. You know, like a Jedi. And now the Cortosis helmet that can take multiple shots from a lightsaber breaks off Smilo's head because a 90-pound girl strikes it twice with the hilt of a weapon. Yes, you heard that right. It breaks for no other reason than it's time for the big reveal. But before that, he runs Chitara through with his saber. Then he realizes he's in Disney Star Wars and she's a stunning and brave female, so he stabs her 2 more times just to be sure. Padawan Chitara then apparently dies, though I'm still only like 70% sure she's really dead. This is Disney Star Wars after all, and she is a stunning and brave female. But the helmet is off, guys, and the camera pulls in to reveal that Smilo Ren is totally Asian Ezra Miller! Wow, not since Halbrand being revealed as Sauron has there been a more expertly cloaked, expectation-subverting, powerful reveal. Yes, the guy who was so obviously Smilo Ren that everyone and their mother had alternate theories because it couldn't possibly be that obvious is revealed to be the person that was so obviously under that mask. Squid is mortified at the death of Chitara, and Asian Ezra Miller gives me the first line in this entire show that I've actually loved.
Was that its name?
I gotta admit, that one got me. What a great heel line in the middle of a grief moment. But then, Master Squid Games says,
She was a child.
with that in mind, let's revisit a few moments from this series.
But I'm better company than a droid. And, way more flexible. Don't tell me you'll miss me. Next time I'm on Coruscant, though, I'll look you up. And we'll go to a cantina and trade stories about Master Soul.
If I can quote an expert, this is kinda...
Weird.
Asian Ezra Miller then chokes Mary Kate and laughs at her for being the only person to ever exist that didn't see this coming. Squid then asks who he is, and instead of reading his mind, which according to Smilo he should now be able to do, tells him he's,
Sith.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Yep. There it is. Now, I'm sure he's not an official Sith. Leslye might just think that Sith is a title for a Dark Jedi. But if he was a member of the Order of the Dark Lords of the Sith during this time, then he'd 100% have a name and the Darth title. So clearly he isn't a Sith. He then goes on to say,
the freedom to wield my power the way I like.
That sounds an awful lot like...
This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
I'm telling you, he's a fart cloud like that Inquisitor in Ahsoka, and he's being controlled by either Mama Yas or Mama Horny. Everything he's doing and saying is in line with the thread lesbian witch stuff. I called it last week, and I'm recalling it this week. Anyway, Jedi Knight Superfan returns with Oshlee. He's gotta save the day now, and... Oh. Right. Male. Of course, because he continues to be the butt of this show's ire, no one reacts to his death at all. Oshlee even takes the opportunity to hit May with a stun shot, and she goes down while Squid and Asian Ezra Miller continue fighting. Then, Squid has a kill shot lined up, and Oshlee stops him. Why? He's killed like 7 Jedi in the last 10 minutes. If there's ever someone that needs to be put down, it's this guy. And these Jedi clearly aren't above killing.
A Jedi doesn't pull her weapon unless prepared to kill.
So why the hell would she stop him? And why would he listen? When Anakin stopped Mace Windu, it was because he needed Palpatine to save Padme. Mace was right in what he was prepared to do. Just because a dark side user is disarmed, it doesn't mean they're unarmed. Oshlee has no other reason to stop Squid other than there's 3 more episodes of this liquid bowel movement of a show, and he has to be around for it. We also get another hint that Squid Games and the Jedi killed everyone on Lesbian Witch Mountain, much like the hints that we got about Smilo Ren being Asian Ezra Miller. Asian Ezra Miller then mounts a comeback, and Oshlee sacrifices Pip by attaching him to Smilo Ren's back to attract the death moths. Hey, remember when she woke up and treated Pip like a beloved dog? Remember when she was so concerned with the droid's safety? She just threw her dog at the enemy she just told Squid to spare and sacrificed her faithful companion for no reason. This is mind-numbingly stupid. And then, Smilo Ren's arms are just too jacked, so he can't get the flashlight off his back. Good thing he can't use the Force, because, you know, that would have worked. And then the death moths arrive. The guy who just killed 7 Jedi now can't fight off 5 giant moths because the script demands it of him. Also, the moths were drawn by this little flashlight and not the 8 lightsabers whirling around for the last 20 minutes. Nothing about this show makes sense. It's all little Leslye logic leaps.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
Mary-Kate is now all better from being stunned, and she stuns Squid, and he sells it for the rest of the episode. He's a Jedi Master, by the way, but the script demands it. Now we get the worst scene in the entire show, even worse than the lesbian witch sing-along. We get Amandla Sameface earning the nickname I've given to her by acting a scene with herself in which she plays 2 characters with 1 facial expression and 1 tone of voice. If you close your eyes, you can't even tell which one is talking.
What have you done? I did what I needed to do for you, for our family.
Also, we're watching the sun come up after we watch the sun go down. So does that mean this fight took 6 hours? Please somebody explain this to me. Now look, I've heard some people give amazing performances playing dueling characters.
To remove those in your way.
You killed them.
We killed them.
Master? Yes, precious. False.
For I live inside you forever! Now, with Satan himself by my side! No!
This ain't it. This just sounds like one person reading to you from a book that they hate. Anyway, Oshlee doesn't want to hug Mary-Kate, so she thread shoves her and gives herself a lightsaber haircut, because we're parent trapping this bitch. Mary-Kate then returns to Squid, and despite him being a character that can supposedly read minds, and despite the fact that she has a freaking face tattoo, he has no idea that she's not Oshlee. I swear, if the next episode doesn't open with him springing some kind of trap on her, then they've destroyed the one good character they made here. Elsewhere, Smilo is back from his moth fight, and he heals Oshlee despite that being a light side power, and waxes poetically while covering her with his cloak. You know, like a mother would do for her child. Also, the number of people trying to ship the two of them after seeing this moment is disgusting. This guy just slaughtered 7 people. These are the people that are going to tell you you're a piece of crap for liking Tony Soprano and Walter White, and they're here shipping every female Star Wars character with genocidal maniacs. And that's where we end this atrocious train wreck for now. One thing to be happy about is there's only 3 episodes left of this horror show, but another way to look at this is, oh god, there's still 3 episodes left of this horror show. I will, however, say that I like Asian Ezra Miller. I loved this actor in The Good Place, and much like Squid Games, he's also doing his damnedest with the shit material he's been given. So, kudos to you, guys. The Asians are bringing it in this one. This was maybe the worst hour of television I've ever suffered through. It's written by a complete buffoon, directed with the expertise of a first-year film school student, and with 2 notable exceptions, acted with the range of an elementary school production of High School Musical. Thanks for waiting on this one. I promise the episode 6 review will be out this week now that I'm back in the studio, and thanks so much for all the support I've been getting from you, the monster movement, over the last few weeks. Now, make sure you check out my pro wrestling channel, Tooneytown Wrestling, and tune into my live stream shows, Toonie Talk Wrestling, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Toonie Talk TV, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. And check me out over on That Game Place, the That Park Place gaming channel, where I'm a regular contributor, and catch our live stream there Wednesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at Tooneytown TV, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!